What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and we're finally going to dive back into some Tales of the Valiant related stuff that I didn't realize was happening, and I talked about it in a previous video, because there are backer playtest packages only. There is the public playtest that has been kind of non-existent more recently. We had small races, or at least small folk at one point, and I believe they did release the entirety of the level 1 to 20 cleric class as a public playtest. But there are several backer playtests that are only available to people who backed the Kickstarter. And the first one that actually released back in June, and I didn't even realize it, was Backer Playtest Packet Number 1, Druid, Ranger, and Primordial Spells. Now, this document is 31 pages, so buckle up, it may be a little bit long, but we'll get to see what the Tales of the Valiant crew are doing with Druid, Ranger, and the Primordial spells. I obviously am very curious about the Ranger, as you all know my opinions on the 5th edition one. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'll zoom this in a little bit here. There was a survey that closed back in July for it, but let's go ahead and take a look. So, nothing too different here from the Druid and the Ranger that we have in 5th edition. Looks to be pretty much the same. Shields, martial weapons. Okay. Druids. Let's see. Behind the curtain, reworking the Druid. This section covers the changes made to base Druid. Druids now know 3 cantrips at first level, and the rest of their cantrips known progress now matches their other full caster classes like Cleric and Wizard. Druids gain a new feature at first level. Nature's Gift is a high utility healing tool that doesn't conflict with Wild Shape. Wild Shape uses now scale the same way Cleric's Channel Divinity does. This helps balance the feature at earlier levels. It means the Druids will now eventually get 3 uses where they were limited to 2 and 5e. Druid subclass is now chosen at 3rd level instead of 2nd. Okay, that's pretty much standardizing subclass progression. Subclass features are now unlocked at 3rd and 7th instead of 2nd and 6th. Wild Shape Beast form improvements now happen at 5th and 9 as opposed to 4 and 8. Heroic Boon is a brand new feature achieved at 10th level. Each base class will have their own version of this. We hope these heroic boons better reward players who choose to invest 10 levels in a single character class. We did see this in some of the other things. So here we go. We are 1 through 10, right? So that's all we've got here. So only up to 5th level. They do get so all of the proficiencies seem to pretty much be the same. Spellcasting, cantrips, all that's the same. Ritual. Remember, ritual casting is different in Tales of the Valiant as Druid. You can also cast long form type spell called Ritual. You do not need to prepare ritual spells. They do not use up spell slots at first level. Choose 1 ritual from the Primordial Circle. Choose more as you level up. Okay, spellcasting focus, Druidic. You know Druidic, the secret language of Druids. You can speak the language and use a system of natural elements. Okay, that's pretty much the same. Nature's Gift. You have learned to harness the ambient energy of nature and can redirect that energy to encourage growth and healing. As a bonus action, choose 1 creature within 5 feet of you. When you do so, roll a number of d4s equal to your proficiency bonus. That creature regains hit points equal to the total rolled. Has no effect on undead or constructs. You can use this feature a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. You recover expended uses when you complete a long rest. Nature's Gift is not a spell, which means a druid can use it even while in wild shape. Okay. Well, again, that's true based on the traditional 5e version of the way the druid are. Obviously, it's a little bit different now what we've seen with some of the updates for the playtest for 5e, but either way. All right, Wild Shape. Let's see how this is different. When you use your Wild Shape, you can choose which effect to create. Some Wild Shape features require saves, okay? You start with 1 such effect, which is Beast Form. At 6th level, you can choose Wild Shape twice before rest. At 17, you can use it 3 times. Okay, so you start off with 1 at level 2, get a second usage at level 6. You regain all expended uses when you complete a short or long rest. Again, so matching traditional Cleric Channel Divinity there. Wild Shape Beast Form. I think this is probably going to be the same. For example, at 2nd level, you transform into a beast with challenge rating of a quarter lower. It doesn't have a fly or swim speed. Yeah, so this is basically the same, looks to be the same as base 5e. Use the statistics of your new form. Keep your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Can't use legendary or lair actions. Your hit point sets to the beast's maximum HP. Oh, maximum. Okay, so a little bit more than the standard. You get the max HP. When you revert to your normal form, does that always say that for druids? I'm not even sure. When you revert to your normal form, you return to the number of hit points you had before you transform. You do not automatically fall unconscious as a result of dropping to 0 hit points in your beast form. However, you automatically revert and the excess damage carries over. You can't cast spells, however, transforming doesn't automatically break your concentration. Your ability to speak, use your hands, or otherwise interact is limited by the capability of your beast form. You retain the benefits of any features granted by your class, lineage, or heritage, or other source, and can use them in beast form if your beast form is physically capable of doing so. When you transform, you choose whether your equipment falls off or melds. Okay, pretty standard. Improvement is the same. It's limited to the magic talent list. For, again, talents being the feat replacement for Tales of the Valiant. Improved beast form, we saw the table up ahead. Form mastery at 9th level. When you use this, you can turn into any creature of CR 1 or below. And then we have the new heroic boon here at 10th level. Choose one of the following heroic boons. Right of the Shaper, when you roll initiative and have no remaining uses of wild shape, you regain 1 use. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you complete a long rest. Or Right of the Kingdom. All beasts and creatures with the animal tag understand your speech and can understand their noises and motions. You can understand their noises and motions as if they were speaking, even if they do not speak a language. This ability doesn't grant beasts the intelligence to understand or communicate complex concepts, but you can share basic information. Your GM has final say on what a particular creature is capable of doing. Additionally, you have advantage on charisma checks made to interact with or influence such creatures. I'll be honest, that's cool. It's not a level 10 ability. That is like level 1, honestly. Level 2, maybe. The ability to talk to animals and stuff. I mean, speak with animals is a spell. I don't know. I feel like that's a little wasted. Like, why would you not take Right of the Shaper based on the like, even flavor wise, it just seems a little too weak for a level 10 ability. All right. So let's see the subclasses. Now, remember, you're going to have probably, what is it going to be? Circle of the, oh, they don't have, as we say, Circle of the Land, I'm pretty sure is the one that is the SRD specific. But we have Circle of the Shifter. This is obviously going to be your Circle of the Moon replacement. Potent forms at level 3. You can transform into a beast or animal with a animal that has a CR of 1. But you ignore the beast forms table and replace it with the potent forms table, which is right here. So ignore the original one, and you'll see at 3rd level you can go CR1, no fly or swim speed. 5th level, no fly speed. 6th level you can do up to CR2, and 9th level up to CR3. So potent forms. Additionally, you now retain the ability to speak any language while in beast form, even if your chosen form does not typically allow you to do so. Although you have the ability to speak while in beast form, you still can't cast spells. Let's see. You can transform into any beast or a creature with the animal tag. So that's why you could see things like Pegasus or Owlbear listed there. For example, you can assume a form with a CR as high as your Druid level divided by 3 rounded down, which you can obviously see, which is standard. Your GM has the full list of creatures with the animal tag that are compatible with this feature. Common options include Owlbear, Griffin, Hippogriff, Pegasus, and Warg. Okay. Quick Shift also at 3rd level. You can do it as a bonus action. Pretty standard. Beast Fury at 7th. Immediately after you take the attack action on your turn while in beast form, you can use your bonus action to make a single unarmed strike with your claws, hoof, fangs, or whatever you use. This attack deals a d6 plus your proficiency bonus, and you are considered proficient with it. You decide if this attack deals bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, and then they're also considered magical. Okay. We have Circle of the Leaf, which is interesting because we do not have Circle of the Land, which is technically the one you would get from the SRD, and they chose to not include that and make 2 unique ones. So Circle of the Leaf, this is kind of obviously a plant-based one. So we have Green Song at 3rd level. As an action, you can focus on a non-magical plant you can see within 30 feet of you. When you do so, you immediately learn its basic properties, including whether or not it's edible, if it's poisonous or otherwise dangerous, and what type of environment it grows in. Additionally, plant-type creatures can understand your speech. You can understand them as if they were speaking a language. So this is my point about the heroic boon, right? Green Song here, you get the ability to speak to like any plant at 3rd level, which is I think faster than speak with plants as a spell, but you're going to make a level 10 feature, the ability to like converse with animals. I know there's other things to it, but basically, yeah, change the heroic boon to be something better. But it's interesting, right now we have a shape-shifting druid and a plant druid. We don't actually have a magical druid either. At least, again, maybe that comes out in a later playtest packet. But all right, level 3, Wild Shape Sacred Grove. As an action, you can expand the use of your Wild Shape feature to infuse the area around you with primordial power, shaping it into a magical pocket grove. When you use this feature, vitality surges into the ground in a 10-foot radius centered on you. Normal plants in the area rapidly expand, and magical plants sprout from the ground. The sacred grove remains magical for a minute until you sacrifice it, causing it to wither, or until you fall unconscious. After its magic fades, any non-magical plant remain healthy or overgrown. You can choose to end this effect early as no action. You can only have one sacred grove at a time. When you first create the grove, choose one of the following. Tree line. Saplings surge from the ground, creating a protective ring. All creatures other than you roll attacks with disadvantage against creatures inside the grove's area. If you would take damage from a weapon or spell while on solid ground within the grove, you can use your reaction to command the grove to intercept it. When you do, the grove withers and you take no damage. So it's just like a one-off shield in that aspect. Tangleweed. Brambles and vines. Whenever a creature sprout up, whenever a creature attempts to move in or out or through the grove, you can use your reaction to command the vines to grab them. The target must make a strength saving throw against your spell save DC or be restrained. A creature restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. Or wildflowers. All creatures in the grove have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened, and against charmed and frightened condition. As a bonus action, you can sacrifice the flower's magic to end all conditions affecting one creature in the grove's area. When you do so, all creatures of your choice on solid ground within the grove get temporary HP equal to your proficiency bonus. So a nice little aspect in the process of just using it as a cleanse, which is cool. And then take root at 7. You can use a bonus action to root yourself. While rooted, your speed is 0 and you can't be forced to move or be knocked prone by any means. You remain rooted until you choose to end it as no action. If you are rooted, when your turn begins, you can choose to spend one of your hit die. When you do so, roll the die and regain HP equal to your result plus your con modifier. I like the concept of a plant-based druid. I don't love Circle of the Leaf. And I just also want to be clear on something to everybody, right? We all know Tales of the Valiant's being created by Celeste Conowitz. She's the senior game designer on this. Celeste is a close friend of mine. I've known her for a very long time. I'm not even sure how many years at this point. We are very good friends. But I also want to make it abundantly clear that I am still critical of design choices that I disagree with. Now, I try to provide constructive criticism where possible. I mean, I did joke around a lot with her at Gen Con about some of the design decisions that were made. But just because she's my friend and a good friend at that and works for a company where I have a lot of friends that I like, does not mean that I'm not going to call out stuff that I don't like. And I think you've seen that so far. But I just want to make sure that I address that specifically. So anyway, I like Circle of the Shifter a lot better. I think I like it a lot, actually. I like the concept of changing the form table. That's very clean and easy for people to follow rather than like having them reference back to the original table but like tweak it. This is much cleaner. I like this a lot. I also like the concept of the animal tag. We'll have to see what those actually look like in the final book, but it's nice to see that you're not just limited to truly beasts. You have the concept of other things. I also like the concept of it flat out telling you at the start that wild shape beast form is a thing you can just do, basically saying, and maybe we'll see this more post level 10, I don't know, that's like one form you have that like you might get other uses for your wild shape. We don't really see that so far. Again, potent forms does also give you the ability to speak, which is nice. And then again, some other benefits for attacking while in transformed shape. Circle of the Leaf, I love the concept of a plant-based druid. I don't personally think this hits the mark. Green Song is a really useful, flavorful ability. I like that. And I do like that Sacred Grove is a usage of your wild shape. I think that that's very cool. We've talked about how I really like using class things as an additional resource. I just don't feel like it really hits the mark on something I super like. I do like the utility of it. And Take Root, it's useful, but I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for me. All right. Now, there's a lot riding on this Ranger because I could talk for hours, and I have on multiple occasions, about my thoughts on the 5th edition Ranger. I've tried multiple times to redo it. I've tried to come up with a way to fix it. I've done a couple of different options. I thought I almost cracked it. I had it real damn close. And I couldn't land on something, so I haven't put anything out, but I was going to make a video. Like, I really thought I was real close. But it ultimately, I really like what I did with the Beastmaster in my internal version of it, and I couldn't get that to work with my new design. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's look at what Celeste put in for the Ranger. Proficiencies and stuff look to be standard. All right, Explorer. Your ability to deal with the environmental challenges is unmatched. You gain the following benefits. Your speed is not halved when you move through non-magical or magical difficult terrain. You suffer other penalties caused by moving through difficult terrain as normal. What other penalties are there for difficult terrain other than having your movement? I have to look that up. You gain either a climbing speed or a swimming speed equal to your walking speed, and you have advantage on checks to track creatures. That's pretty standard from everything all of you have said about what you feel a Ranger should be. That does hit a lot of the marks for it. The tracking, the nature kind of stuff there. All right, Mystic Mark. This is probably going to be your, like, Hunter's Mark situation. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can mystically mark it as your favored quarry. The creature remains marked for 1 minute until you use this feature to mark a different creature until you become incapacitated. While a creature is marked, including for the attack that triggered the mark, you deal an extra d4 damage to it. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing is the weapon's damage type. Each time you successfully hit it with a weapon attack. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest. This damage increases to a d6 at 6th level and a d8 at 14th level. So it is... When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you choose to mark it. So it's not actually using up any action economy to do so. It also lasts for a minute. And you can just flat out deal an extra d4 damage to it every time you successfully hit it. It does not have a transfer quality. Like, you can't transfer it over to another one. You just have to use the ability again, which is fine. And it is non-concentration, and it doesn't use your action, and it does scale up in damage. I think that's fine. I mean, it gets the essence of, I feel like, what a lot of people want the Ranger to do, which is just do more damage to a singular target, whether that's a favored quarry or favored enemy or what have you. I think it's fine. It's, like I said, it doesn't have a lot of tracking. It's nice that it still saves your action economy. It's part of an attack. When you get multiple attacks, it's going to allow you to do that, and then the subsequent attacks to do that. You don't have to worry about concentration. And again, it does scale as you level, which is nice. So I really have nothing to say about that. I just personally like the concept of favored enemy better, where you become the specialist against certain types of creatures. That's just me. That's just a flavor thing. But either way, Mystic Mark kind of seems like it does a better job of hitting the mark with what, no pun intended, Wizards of the Coast tried to do with the multiple iterations of Ranger in the playtest that just didn't land. All right, Martial Action. Your tactical expertise allows you to quickly act in the battlefield. When you take a bonus, you can take a bonus action on each of your turns in combat. This bonus action can be used to perform a weapon option or one of the unique martial actions granted by this feature, which we have a couple here. We have Aim. As a bonus action, you take time to increase the effectiveness of your ranged attack. Select one target. If you make a ranged attack against that target before the end of your turn, double your proficiency bonus for the first attack roll. Or Quick Strike if you're wielding 2 weapons once per turn after you take the attack action and attack with a light melee weapon. You can use a bonus action to make 2 attacks with a different light melee weapon that you're holding in the other hand. This is instead of the 1 attack typically granted by 2-weapon fighting. So you're making 1 and then 2 quick strikes as opposed to 1 and 1. And I like this. This is very much the 3-5 Ranger style, right? Do you go ranged weapon or 2-weapon? And that's a thing that I associate a lot with Ranger just because that's where I came from, right? With 3-5 that was like a part of the decision you made as you leveled up as a Ranger, was where you're going to focus on ranged attacks with like a ranged weapon, or we're going to focus on 2-weapon fighting. Obviously, there was some funky stuff you could do with 2-weapon fighting with like throwing javelins, but either way. All right, spellcasting. It does have tracking, a little tracking sidebar. Tracking is a unique way a PC can use a survival skill. It involves detecting and following signs of a creature's passage through an area. Any creature or any character can attempt to track, regardless of whether they have proficiency. However, the Ranger's Explorer feature makes them adept at tracking. That makes sense. So, spellcasting, okay, uses wisdom. All right, subclasses. We have the Hunter or the Packmaster. That's obviously going to be your Beastmaster option, I assume. Subclass spells. Each Ranger subclass has a list of spells that you gain access to. Something that we saw with multiple different subclasses post the player's handbook from Wizards of the Coast, but they never went back and adjusted those to have it. And then some of the newer ones, like the Drake Warden, didn't have subclass spells. It was very odd. The design choice was all over the place, in my opinion. All right. Multi-attack, you can take an extra, make 2 attacks when you take the attack action. Empowered Mark at 6th level. While a creature marked by your Mystic Mark is within 60 feet of you, you know its exact location and it can't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as a result of being invisible or otherwise unseen. Additionally, when you attack a marked creature within 60 feet of you, an inability to see it doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack roll. This is a nice improvement. I like this a lot. This takes the Mystic Mark feature, which we have earlier on, which is, again, like a favorite enemy, Hunter's Mark situation, and just bolsters it. This is sort of the base feature of the Ranger, is it's getting these additional aspects for the mark itself. We have Stalker's Step at 9th. While you're in dim light darkness or lightly obscured by foliage, mist, or some other natural phenomenon, you can use a bonus action to magically become invisible, along with the equipment you are wearing or carrying, until the start of your next turn. This invisibility ends if you attack or cast a spell. You can use this feature proficiency bonus times per long rest. I like this. This is good. It works kind of like the hidden in plain sight kind of situation, or vanish, which I like, which I would usually just treat it as making you have just being able to hide as a bonus action. But this actually lets you become invisible as a bonus action, which has other implications of you not actually rolling for a hide check. You just are invisible. Now let's see how the heroic boon is handled for the Ranger, because I had my thoughts on the Druid. All right, Path of the Predator. When you roll initiative, you can expend a use of Mystic Mark to automatically mark one creature you can see, no attack required. Additionally, if a marked creature is reduced to 0 HP, you can use your react... Okay. That's good. I like that a lot. That fixes a lot of the issues that I had with Mystic Mark at the start. And this is even better, right? So now, when you roll initiative, you can choose to auto-mark somebody, not having it, so both attacks you would take on that turn would benefit from it, or multiple attacks if you have them. And if the marked creature you have is reduced to 0 hit point, you can use your reaction to transfer it to somebody else. I also like that it's a reaction and not a bonus action on your turn. It's a reaction to transfer it. That's really nice. That makes it very clean. I gotta give kudos to that. It also really truly makes the mark a base feature of the Ranger, and I do like that. All right. Or Path of the Sage. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Primordial spell list. You also learn 2 ritual spells. So whenever you gain a level of Ranger, you can replace one of these cantrips and one of these rituals. So just giving you some more magical capabilities. 10, like, this is giving you pretty much a hard choice for your class, which I do like. But I feel like Path of the Predator is the easy winner here. Path of the Sage is nice. It's nice quality of life. But Path of the Predator is the clear choice, in my opinion. All right. So the Hunter. Let's see how much this has changed from the base version we had in the player's handbook. All right, you're going to get protection from evil and good, pass without trace, non-detection, locate creature, and hold monster. All good, useful spells to have auto-prepared. Killer Instinct at 3rd level. As a bonus action, choose a creature you can see within 60 feet of you. You immediately learn the creature's immunities, resistance, and vulnerabilities, or you learn if it has none. This feature doesn't function if the target is magically concealed by a spell like non-detection or similar effects. You can use this feature proficiency bonus times per long rest. That's good. That kind of fits with what we've seen with the updates with Battlemaster from Wizards of the Coast. I like it. It's good. It's just a quick hit thing too, which is nice. Not like study them for a minute. Relentless Pursuit, also at 3rd level. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, it takes an extra d8 damage if it's below its hit point maximum. You can only deal this once per turn. So this has kind of taken the concept of what was Colossus Slayer, I believe, in the Hunter, and just made it a class feature and not a choice. And then Iron Mind at 7th level. When you make a saving throw against becoming charmed, frightened, or possessed, you can roll a d6 and add the result to the total. So this is much simpler and cleaner than the Hunter in the player's handbook. I do think in that instance, people do like the choice of different options so you can kind of customize your Hunter. I also understand not doing that because there usually was 1 or 2 choices people would always take. So it's fine. It's a solid subclass overall. It's also hard to judge a lot of this stuff considering we only have to level 10. If we had the whole class, we might have a better idea if more stuff comes online post level 10. But either way, not bad. Now, this one obviously is near and dear to me. This is the Pack Master. This is going to be our Beastmaster replacement here. So you're going to get Animal Friendship, Wild Sense, Conjure Animals. And that's it. You don't get all of them. Interesting that this got Locate Creature and Hold Monster at 13th and 17th, but this just didn't. I wonder if that's a mistake. Either way. Beast Spirit. You learn a ritual that allows you to bind a beast spirit to physical form to fight alongside you as a trusted companion. This ritual takes an hour to complete and can be done as part of a short or long rest. Once the ritual is complete, it appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet. You choose whether it assumes an avian, agile, aquatic, or sturdy form. Your choice of form affects the creature's statistics as shown in the beast stat. I already don't like it. Your choice also affects how the spirit looks, causing it to resemble a medium-sized animal of your choice that suits the chosen form. As part of a long rest, you can change it. The beast spirit is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. In combat, it shares your initiative count but takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required by you. If you don't issue any such commands, it takes the dodge action and uses its move to avoid danger. That's nice that it just it obeys your verbal commands, no action required, so you can just say, go do this thing, attack, and it does, so you don't actually have to utilize a bonus action. We'll see how this works with the subclass features as we go on. The no action required by you is powerful, and I do like that, but I think part of the reason that a lot of the times we see it require a bonus action to do an attack is for balance or an overall damage per turn. Its number of hit dice equal to D10s equal to your ranger level. You can spend these hit dice to recover hit points during a short rest, as a PC would. If it's destroyed or reduced to 0 hit points, it is instantly destroyed, and you must perform the ritual again to create a new one. The new body appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet. Even though it receives a new spirit or body, the spirit retains its memories and personality. All right, its armor class is 11 plus your proficiency bonus in natural armor, or 13 if you choose the sturdy form. Hit points are 5 plus 5 times your ranger level. Perception 12, stealth 14, 30-foot climb speed, 30-foot movement speed, 30-foot climb speed if you choose agile, 60-foot fly if you choose avian, and 30-foot swim if you choose aquatic. Dark vision, we see our statistics are, here's our strength, dex, con. So what is this? 18, 10, 16, and a 14 wisdom. Agile form has a climb speed equal to its walking speed and advantage on saving throws against being knocked prone. Aquatic has a swim speed equal to its walking speed and can hold its breath for 20 minutes. Avian has a flying speed. Carrying a heavy load or a creature of its size or larger while flying reduces its speed to half. And the sturdy form has the increased AC. Additionally, the creature counts as one size larger when determining its carrying capacity and the weight it can push or drag. Multi-attack. The spirit makes a number of attacks equal to your proficiency bonus rounded down. And it does +4 plus your proficiency bonus to hit. And damage is 8 plus your proficiency bonus, or a d8 +4 plus your proficiency bonus in damage. You decide whether it's bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. It also has lifelink at 3rd level. When your beast spirit takes damage while you're within 30 feet of it, you can use your reaction to take any amount of that damage instead. Damage you take in this way is not reduced by any resistances or immunity you have. You can use this proficiency bonus times prolonged rest. It's nice that you can choose to just take any amount. If you want to just take a little bit so it doesn't maybe get knocked out, or you want to take all of it, that's an option too. And then shared mark at 7th. The creature's attacks now count as magical for overcoming resistance to non-magical attacks. Additionally, while a creature is marked by your Mystic Mark feature, the spirit deals an extra d6 damage to it each time it successfully hits. It increases and scales with yours, becoming a d8 when you reach 14. So, all right, that's pretty good. I personally don't love the concept of like the spirit, right? Where like it's a spirit and you choose what it looks like. I don't like that. I never have. I don't like it when Wizards of the Coast does it either. I like picking animal because I like having the uniqueness of that specific creature. Like, you know, you want to pick a crab, the crab gets blind sight. You know, I like the uniqueness of the creature itself. I get it. I fully understand why it's simpler, it's easier to print. There's less balancing issues when you create the stat block from scratch. So I'm not going to call it lazy design because it's not. And it's what Wizards of the Coast is doing. But it gives me the same vibes as like their Beastkin race, where it's like it's a race option, or heritage or lineage, I forget which one it is, but the one that's essentially any animal creature you want it to be. I like the uniqueness of multiple races. I get the simplicity of making Beastkin an option and then you choose what kind of creature you want to be based around. I still kind of like the concept of just like an individual option for each, but either way. All right, then we move into the supplemental Ranger subclass spells. These are options for Ranger subclasses, but are not included in the Primordial spell list. So we're seeing that kind of concept we saw with Wizards of the Coast, where like there's a primal spell list, but then there's ones that are specific for, they ultimately went away from that. But non-detection, protection from evil and good. I don't think there's much changes there, so those are those. And then we see the Primordial spell lists here. Let's see. Dancing Lights, Druid, Craft, Poison Spray. I'm just seeing if there's anything that kind of jumps out at me. Shocking Grasp is nice to have on there. Nothing too crazy here for the first ring. I like everything I'm seeing here. Second ring, Alter Self, Bark Skin, Flaming Sphere, Heat Metal, Moonbeam, Misty Step. Wild Sense sounds like that's a new one for them. I really feel like Druids should have access to Shatter. It just kind of makes sense to me. But either way. Third, we have Call Lightning. But nothing too crazy there. It's all kind of pretty standard stuff. Fourth, Blight, Dominate Beast, Ice Storm, Polymorph. Yeah, this is pretty similar to what the Druid spell list kind of is right now in 5e. I'm not seeing anything that really jumps out at me separate other than like Shocking Grasp, because that's not typically on the cantrip list. All right. Yeah, the rituals. Detect poison and disease. Purify food and drink. Speak with animals. Animal messenger. Locate animal and plants. Trestle, which is new. Water walk. Locate creatures. Song of the forest, which I think might be new. Awaken. Commune with nature. Reincarnate. No detect magic? Feels like that's an oversight. All right. This section presenting a sample of commonly used spells in alphabetical order. I'm not going to look through too many of these because I feel like most of these are looking the majority like the same of what they actually are in 5e. right? Let's see, is Blight any different? No, Blight's the same. Bark Skin's the same. Call Lightning is the same. Let's look for those new spells. Conjure Animals. Do you get to choose? Yeah. Nope. Okay. Conjure Elemental. Contagion. Control Water. Continual Flame. You might notice a few spells are labeled with the weird circle of magic. This is a bit of foreshadowing because we haven't revealed the weird circle yet. The editor left these in the playtest packet, so we didn't have to remember to insert them later. Okay, well, we'll get to that probably in the next playtest packet. Dark Vision, Cure Wounds, Daylight, Dancing Lights, Dominate Beast, Enhance Ability, Druid Craft. Find Steed is on their list. So I guess that technically means that it's Divine and Primordial. So I guess that technically means that a Ranger or a Druid could create a Find Steed, which means that a Ranger could be a Packmaster with a Spirit and then also cast Find Steed. Looks to pretty much be exactly the same as Find Steed, Flaming Sphere, Featherfall, Fly, Giant Insect, Goodberry, Whole Monster. All right, these all look to be pretty much the same. Let's see if we can get to some of the new ones. Shillelagh change at all? Nope. Speak with Plants, Shocking Grasp, Spike Growth. Okay. Web, Wind Wall. Here's Wild Sense. You touch a willing beast or creature with the animal tag, creating a mystic link. While linked, you can use an action to see through the target's eyes. Hear what it hears, perceive what it perceives. You are blinded and deafened while you do so. As an action, you presume your own senses. At any time, you can use an action to break the link. It is non-concentration for an hour. I think there is a spell that lets you do this. It might be called like Beast Sense or something like that. And this might just be because I can't use that particular version of it because it's not in the SRD, so you have to come up with your own. Then we have the various rituals here, which are separate. Let's see. Let's look at Song of the Forest. Oh, they did actually update the reincarnate table here as well to be tied to the current options for lineages that they've released thus far. So Song of the Forest, you attune yourself to the natural world around you, detect every sound that occurs within 60 feet. While the spell is active, you have Tremor Sense out to a range of 10 feet, Keen Sense out to a range of 30 feet, an advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing. Creatures that make no noise or are magically silent can't be detected by this spell. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Concentration up to 10 minutes. And it is a ritual that takes 10 minutes to cast. Then lastly, here we have Trestle. All right, this is a third level ritual here, 10 minutes to cast. You cause a vine to sprout from the ground and crawl across a surface or rise into the air in a direction chosen by you. The vine must sprout from a solid surface, such as the ground or a wall, and is strong enough to support 600 pounds of weight along its entire length, which could be any number of feet up to 5 times the highest primordial ring slot you possess. The vine collapses immediately if the weight limit is exceeded. A vine that collapses from weight or damage instantly disintegrates. The vine has many small shoots, so it can be climbed with a successful DC 5 athletics check. It has AC 8. So it basically allows you to make a trestle, right? You want to make like a bridge or something. That's kind of cool. I like that, actually, quite a bit. So there you go, folks. That is a review of Backer Playtest Packet number 1 from Cobalt Press. I believe there is a few more if I were to go look. So that was, again, from back in June. So this one was found under August 18th, which is the backer, which the next one we will cover, which is Bard, Mechanist, Warlock, and 2 new lineage options. So we will cover that in a future video. And I think that covers us all the way up to date for all public and backer-related playtest data. So There you go, folks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.